Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. Today we're going to continue to look at the garden and see the progress of everything that's been growing. It feels like everything has been blooming by the second back there. Plus I've been continuing to plant more things out and just finish up in the backyard garden, and I cannot wait to share with you all. So let's get started. All right, friends, well, I actually want to try and start off the video by sharing these two planters as I see progress. Now, the last garden tour, I had told you that I had bought these, they're columnar kind of dwarf apple trees. That's why they're in this planter box. But since last week, you guys, look at how much it has grown. I'm really super excited about these apple trees, and I really do hope that they work having them here, and I'm hoping that I can grow some apples on here. Now, of course, I would love to have a tree in the backyard, and maybe down the road I will, but I feel like this is a good start for me. So I want to show you the progress of these at least maybe every couple weeks or whenever I see that there's been a lot of growth. So here is the last little bit of my starts, which it still looks like a lot, but compared to what I had, you guys, this is almost like nothing. So these are pretty much the leftover tomato plants. Not every single tray is full with a tomato plant, so there's not a ton here, but these two trays right here, I've already put the tomato plants that are going to go in the two last beds that I'll show you when we go up there. So those are already to go for those beds. And then these are just my extra pepper plants right here. And then I wanted to show this to you guys because I did some onion starts back in very early February. Now these are onions as well as, I want to say, I believe some shallots. They did not look very good. Because I don't know why they didn't look good in the beginning, and you can tell that some didn't even, they died. But I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, look at the beautiful growth of some of these starts. So I think what I'm going to be doing with these is putting them in the green stalks that are designated for onions. So these two I still have to harvest. I'm going to harvest that on my GREENSTALK garden tour harvest videos that I do. And so I think what I will do is just use these because I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to use this in the off season or not of once I've harvested the onions. But I think that's what I'm going to be doing. And if I don't put them in there, then I will definitely find spots back there for them. Now, before we go in the back, I did want to show you some of the blueberries have been finally ripening, and they're so delicious, you guys. I'm still waiting on those. I believe those are the powder blues, so they are supposed to be kind of a different shade of a blueberry. But, and I want to say this is the Prince. I believe this is the Prince. But they've been wonderful, and so we've been picking them off as they've been ripening. I quickly wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see those little teeny buds, but those are lemons. No, they look like limes because they're green, but they come out green first. So far, these plants are looking really healthy, and I'm pretty happy to see that because I had refreshened the soil and gave it some fertilizer and put them in new grow bags. So hopefully we'll be harvesting some lemons and limes together this summer. Okay, so since we are down here, I thought I'd give you a quick peek at what is growing down here and just the progress of everything, because I am growing a lot in these bags. And these bags are going to be my focus this week, meaning kind of cleaning some of this up as well as some of this. Now, a lot of this are leeks, and those are not ready to be harvested, so some of them I won't be touching. But I did want to show you the zinnia that's coming out. Look at that beautiful pink. It is so stunning. Now, these I probably won't be touching. I might clean up some of the arugula and harvest it over the week. The ginger and turmeric is doing amazing. They've grown since the last tour. But these right here, while they're still producing, and I do plan to keep these here so that I can harvest some snap peas to eat. Of course, I'm gonna harvest some as we are walking through, why not? But I'm probably going to be like cleaning this out because the spinach is clearly done, and I'll probably be finally adding the cucumber bush seeds that I want to plant in these trellises. But more than likely the bags in between with the leeks and everything I will not be touching, maybe just cleaning up a little bit. But so far everything is doing really lovely. Now this one down here, I'm a little sad. This is my Amish snap peas. This one might still be good. But it's starting to kind of, you know, you can see it's starting to kind of die on me. Now I'm probably, and I may likely, it just depends on my schedule, I may just let them stay on there and dry out so I can gather seed from these, because I'm not in a huge rush to take them out. But if I do need to take them out, like I said, due to my schedule, I will have to. But this one's definitely got to go soon. The rest of them are doing pretty good. So I just want to give you an update on all the grow bags on the retaining wall. So the last garden tour I had showed you my wagon. I used this to not only harvest some food because it's so large, but I also will go into my backyard garden. I'll just roll it right on back there, and I'll put all of my fertilizer clips, tomato clips, just everything that I would need so I'm not going in and out, and I put it in here. But I thought I'd show you something real quick because I threw the peas in here, that the snacking cucumbers that I want to put in those bags, because they're right here, I wanted to quickly show you these because they've done, some of them did really well, some of them didn't last year, so I'm going to try them again. But a lot of them are from Territorial Seed Company. So I have the beet, if I'm saying that correctly, Alpha Quick Snack F1. So you can see right here, it can go into a 6 or 8 inch container, so I figured this would be perfect for a grow bag. So we're going to try this one again. And then this one is the slicer, so it's a little patio snacker, slicer American. And then a bushing, like a pickling bushing one. And then I want to say, I think this one is new for me. This is from Seed Savers. I want to try this one as well. It's a bushing cucumber. So these are the ones that I plan to put in the grow bags that we were just looking at. Now before we go back there, I do want to quickly harvest a little bit of my herbs. So this is my little rolling cart herb section. I am going to be doing a separate herb garden tour. I'm just not sure exactly when, but in the meantime, I do want to harvest some of this oregano because I really have been wanting to, so we're going to harvest some right now. This lavender plant, you guys, is so beautiful. I mean, the smell is just, there's nothing like it. Just to have lavender growing just for the smell when I'm outside, or just pick a few of the stems off to smell, is just nice to have. It's very relaxing. I'm going to go ahead and harvest just a couple of these. All right, friends, let's go ahead and go back to the garden. And we've been taking this way because I want to start by showing you the new cherry tomato trellis. So far, this is making me really happy, and I'm very glad that I came up with this idea. Now, if you're new to my channel, I had purchased a kind of like a folding type of a trellis, and then my husband reinforced it with rebar into the ground. And the idea was to have a bunch of cherry tomatoes in grow bags just climb up, and then hopefully try to maybe train it to go down. I'm just not sure. This is the first time I'm doing this, but so far everything's looking so good. And then ever since, okay, sorry, there was a bug that literally just flew into my eye. So ever since the last tour, I've added one more cherry tomato to each bag, except the sweet pea. I already had 3 in there because they're super small. And I want to say the sweet pea currant, I had already added 2 previously. So I did add 1 more to each bag, plus, because I always like to squeeze it in there, I took the 2-gallon grow bags and I added 1 cherry tomato to each grow bag. And I want to say, yeah, that was it. Now, there are, I think maybe 1 or 2 that I had put 2 just to experiment and see how they do. But for the most part, I just kept it 1 just because it's a 2-gallon grow bag. It's already pretty small. And then, of course, I have all of the basil on the outside of the larger bags just as a companion plant. And if you can see that, we're already starting to get a few flowers that are going to start to bloom. This is really exciting, and this looks super healthy to me. The whole plant looks really healthy. So far, I'm really enjoying this idea that I came up with. This one too, which is the, I think the pole cherry. You can see the flowers right there. It's kind of hard because of this background right here. By the way, these flowers that grow here in Alabama are super pretty. I did know the name of them and I forgot, but they're very pretty flowers. You can see it up close a little bit more. All right, sometimes it's really hard to even know where to start because there's a lot of stuff growing. But I will start with these because I just recently put a video out putting these trellises in the bags, how I do them, and then planting some of my starts in here. So in these bags, what I decided to do was put tomato plants. I did 5. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't really see them very well because they're still small. And then I stuffed it with a whole bunch of basil. So this one is the piccolini. It's kind of a dwarf basil, which it doesn't seem like a dwarf basil to me, but we'll see what happens. This is my first time growing them. And then this one I stuck a bunch of Tulsi holy basil because not only do we love this basil for tea, but it smells beautiful and it's nice to, I was hoping to have it here because I can come right down the stairs and either harvest some and make some quick fresh tea or just to smell it and see it because it's beautiful and it has flowers. This is one of the few basils that you want it to flower like that. It's okay if it flowers. This one and the lemon basil that I know of, there might be some other ones, but those are the 2 that I know of. And then the other 2 bags are all peppers. Now, I kind of stuffed these in. They don't look like much right now because I literally just planted these not long ago. What I did was I put them around in a circle and then I put 1 in the middle because they do so well with supporting each other. I figured that this would work well. So this is also kind of an experiment as far as putting this many pepper plants in a bag and then putting the tomato plants along the trellises. I've never done this before. So I'm also kind of experimenting to see how this works. And I'm hoping that it works very well because that's a lot of plants in one bag as well as this. Now, the other thing I did try doing, and unfortunately I couldn't in the bag, I tried having this open all the way instead of having it like an acute angle. I was going to put it straight in here, but unfortunately there was no reinforcement. It seemed kind of flimsy. They do well, in my opinion, if you don't have reinforcements. I feel like they do better folded this way. It helps it to stay sturdier, if that makes sense what I'm saying. I find this to be better. Now, this bed of tomato plants have grown a lot since the last tour, and I'm very happy to see them growing this much because this last week I did a lot of pruning and putting some clips on them. I'm already going to have to go around and clip some more and probably prune a little bit more. I do tend to be prune happy. I don't know why I do that, so I'm going to try my hardest not to prune too much. I do understand that there's a lot of humidity here, so it's good to prune them, but I just don't want to over prune. And then these are all doing really well too. These are a lot of my determinate plum tomatoes that I put over here just so that it wouldn't get too big. I had cherry tomatoes here last year, and while they did really good, it just became a hot mess and I didn't like it, which is why I decided to do that over there because they do get to be too messy. So I figured I'd put determinants. I actually did a lot of determinants in pretty much most of the bags and the buckets over there. We're going to get set in just a second, as well as these, just so that it wouldn't get overwhelming for me. I also want to give you an update on this little volunteer tomato plant. So this little guy, he is just surprising me so much. So I ended up putting a little bit of straw on the ground to cover it because it's doing really well. Look at how thick the stem is. I mean, it's super healthy. So here's what I did. I took jute twine, I tied it gently down here, and I twirled it around, or looped it around, and then I looped it around this pole, and then I clipped it here with extra string so that as it grows, I can continue to support it and tie it to this post. I'm going to give you guys updates on this probably, or at least hopefully, every week so you can see how this does. This bed and this bed are my last two beds that I have to plant tomato plants. So let's focus on this one before we go to the other one. So like I said last week, this is a cilantro. It's definitely going to go to seed, and I'm just going to let it go to seed, or at least until I pull everything out of this bed. But everything's growing still. I just don't have the heart to take anything out right now, and I'm not going to. I'll just have to, like I said last week, I'm just going to have to figure out how to keep the other tomato plants, you know, just to keep them going somehow, just so that I can let this bed grow. But I did want to show you this cauliflower. So now I will say the head doesn't look tight. Now it could be the variety. I have to figure out which variety this is. I forgot which ones I planted in here, or it may be because the weather is getting too warm. So I'm definitely going to be keeping a very close eye on this bed, and the moment I feel like I need to start pulling stuff out, I will. But it's really hard to pull any of this out if nothing is dying on me or going to seed. So we're going to keep an eye on this, and if there is anything to harvest, I will definitely show you all. Now this bed right here is very exciting to me. Other than the fact that I really want to plant my other starts in here, the carrots in this bed is doing so good, and I'm starting to wonder if I should have just planted every single square. I pretty much did every other square in 9 different varieties of carrots, but here's what we're going to do today, because I have been keeping an eye on these and some of them do look like they're ready for harvest. I'm going to harvest one from each square to see how they're doing. So let's go ahead and get harvesting. So this first one is the Napoli F1. Let's go ahead. I'm going to harvest this corner one right here. Oh, that's a tiny one, so maybe they're not ready. Okay, you know what? Because of my curiosity, let's do another one just to be safe, because there's a lot more Napoli down here than the other squares. Let me see. All right, let's pull this one. Hopefully it's a bigger one, because that was kind of a tiny one. Okay, they're getting a little bit bigger. So maybe, I don't know, maybe one more week, you guys. I don't know, we'll see. Let's look at the other ones. So this next one is the Carnival F1. So I did, I want to say 3 different F1 varieties. And while I can plant 16 per square, I only did 9 because it was my first time growing these in the squares. I wanted to see how they did. Now this one looks very well developed. Let's try this one right here. Sorry, you know, the green, this is all getting stuck together. And so I just want to try to untangle it. Okay, these aren't bad. These are definitely kind of small. I mean, they're bigger than my thumb, so it's not like they're super teeny tiny, but they definitely could be longer, so they probably need just a smidgen more time. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and get the next one. All right, this next one is the Romance F1, and I actually did just buy more seeds of these because they are doing so good. So let's go ahead and pull this one. Okay, this one's pretty good. For me, these are fine. Of course, I would love them longer, but maybe they do need a little bit more time. So I'm going to be putting them next to each other on the ground. So Napoli F1, Carnival F1, and Romance F1. Now this next batch is the Carnival Blend. So this is not an F1. This is just the Carnival Blend. Now this one I want to harvest because this just seems really big right here. This one seems like it got the biggest. All right, let's grab this one. Oh, look at that. Not cool, guys. Look at this little nub. How disappointing. All right, let's try another one. Just because I have to try another one. So we'll try this one at the corner. These are probably not ready. Okay, that's a little bit better. Oh, that other one was disappointing, but look at how gorgeous that purple is. That's pretty. All right, so here is this one. And of course I have a Tulsi Holy Basil that's just growing in here. Okay, now I had bought Fort Patriot stuff a couple years ago and they had sent me seeds with my order. So let's see how these are doing. So this is Fort Patriot's seed. Okay, not bad. That's pretty good. I like it. Now these are from the Dollar Tree. This is the red cord Chantanid. I'm totally butchering it, I'm sure. But let's go ahead and harvest one of these and see how we did. Okay, this isn't too bad. They're all like, not super small, but like, I don't know, kind of short, medium-ish, kind of. All right, let's add it to the rest. Now this one is Littlefinger. I've never had success with Littlefinger, so let's see how this one is doing. Okay, that's kind of funny because this is probably the longest one, maybe not as thick as the other ones, but the longest one, and this is supposed to be Littlefinger. Isn't that funny? So this is probably pretty good for Littlefinger, I'm assuming. I don't know, I'm not a carrot expert, but I'm gonna keep trying growing carrots because we love carrots. Okay, this next one is the Rebecca. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Let's see, this one looks like it would be ready, maybe. I don't know, I'm not a carrot expert. All right, let's try it. Oh, that one's very tiny. That one's disappointing. All right, let's try one more. Just because I'm hoping that was just a dud. Okay, it's a little bit better, but these are definitely very small. So I might leave these in for another week. I don't know. All right, this last one is the Danvers variety. And let's see, I want to say I've grown Danvers before. I just don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, I think I want to say I grew them last year and they were pretty good. So hopefully this one will be good. Nope, it's tiny and skinny. Well, they're clearly not fully ready. All right, well, I feel like considering all things, they're not horrible, but clearly they're not 100% ready, which I'm a little bummed about, but that's okay. I'll just focus on some other things in the garden and let those grow a little bit longer. I do want to give you updates on my San Marzano as well as my Martina Roma beds, which is these two along with my Trellis of Kentucky Wonders. So since the last tour, I've definitely pruned a little bit more and added some more of the clips because they've just been growing. And actually, I have not seen these yet. This is the first time I'm seeing these little flower buds with you guys. It looks like we're going to be getting tomatoes soon. So that's real exciting. But these are growing very well in here. I want to say this is probably my third year growing these in the bed. I do them every year just because they do so well in here. And then I always have basil on the outside as a companion plant. I usually have Tulsi Holy Basil, but this year I decided to go with Mammoth Basil. It's my first time growing it. So far, I'm liking it a lot. And then this year I did add those onions on the side. And so far, you guys are doing really well. And they don't hinder anything with regards to the tomato plants. So we'll see as time progresses. And then you guys look at the Kentucky Wonders. They have been growing so much. They're already up to here right now. Now what I did do over here is I did end up getting rid of those snapping peas right here. The only ones I left are these 3 telephone peas right here because they weren't showing any signs of disease and they are still producing so many snap peas. I do need to come out here and I need to harvest some of those. You can see them, they're still climbing. So Probably at some point in the next week or two, I'll be getting rid of this, but I'm not going to just because it's producing food and it's not doing anything to the tomato plants. And then the San Marzanos, oh look at these have flowers too. I did not see these. Oh, that's so exciting. I can't wait to get tomatoes. But these are doing really well as the red Reuben that is on the edge of the garden bed. These are doing really good too. And let's see, I wanted to take a peek at, so this is the one that wasn't doing very well, and I actually, now that I'm looking at it, I might pull that one out because I do have an extra San Marzano, and I'm probably going to replace that one. I think that's probably the only positive thing about overstarting plants is that I do have some backups, and I have broken some. Some have gotten, you know, just bad on me, so it is nice to have extras to fill in those spots. And then I also still have onions along this side as well. And then the one thing that is new for me this year is growing the sunflowers along this rod. I usually always have it here with a bamboo stick, but that bamboo stick always would just fall over. So I figured we'd try to hook it against here, and then that way the green beans can also latch onto the sunflower because they do love to latch onto them. So I'm hoping that this works out really well, and I'm just glad that I have sunflowers that are germinating because those roly-polies kept eating them. I've had to replant these sunflower seeds so many times. I think this is the last one. And let me check. Nope, look at that. They ended up eating it. Now I have to replant this one. So there you go. That's what they do. They're little stinker butts. Now this one's fine, and the other two are fine. I think I might actually have, no, I don't have an extra one. Okay, now I'm just talking out loud. So I'll have to replant that one, but at least 3 out of 4, that's pretty good. By the way, this too is a volunteer plant. It is a cucumber plant. And I have 2 of them actually. I don't know what variety this is. Okay, by the look of that, that almost looks like the Piccolini or the Poniente. I am not sure, but we will find out as the weeks come. I'm kind of glad that it's right by this pole because I might use it as a support. I don't know. See, this to me is interesting. I love watching things like this to see how well they do. You can see the roots right here. I was trying to kind of bury it into the ground a little bit, but I hope we get something from this because this will be fun to learn from. Now, something I did do over the week was I got rid of the rest of the broccolis except for that one cabbage down there, just because it's not too large. I'm just going to keep it there. It's not showing signs of flowering. Now, clearly I have a lot of shallots here, and you guys, they're doing really, really, really well in here. I'm trying to see if I can show you a little bit. You can see they're doing really good. So these are not ready to harvest quite yet, but what I plan to do, and I may end up having to do this bed before I come touch that one as well as that one, which is probably what I'm going to do, knowing me. And I'm going to be planting a bunch of different varieties of bush green beans. Now, I love green beans, and I bought a whole bunch of different varieties this year. I cannot wait to show them to you. Some of them are from Baker's Creek, and this is actually my first time. I had purchased from Baker's Creek my first time this year, and I'm really looking forward to growing these new ones. In fact, that gourd on the trellis, which you guys is already all the way up here, is from Baker's Creek, and I cannot wait to see how that turns out. And then let's take a quick peek. Oh, there's a lemongrass, by the way. It's growing really nice in here. And let's take a peek at the cucumbers. So far, they're doing really good. The snap peas. Now, I will say, I did leave one snap pea in just because it looked really healthy and it was not in the way of anything. And clearly it's growing snap peas, which I'm going to harvest. And so I don't know how long I'll keep this in. I'll probably keep it in another week or so. it's not really showing signs of anything, so we're just gonna let that be here. But for the most part, there are no more snap peas and it is all cucumbers, and I cannot wait for this whole thing to fill with cucumbers like it did last year. As far as the varieties of the cucumbers, there's some here that I've done last year that were really good, but then I have some new ones, some from Baker's Creek that we're going to try. I want to say I have about 4 or 5 varieties on one side and 4 and 5 on the other side. I'd have to look back at my chart, but for the most part, all of them germinated. I did have to plant one more seed right here, which it looks like, thankfully, it germinated because I think the snap pea was overcrowding that part. And so I'm just hoping that we get a lot of cucumbers because we really do enjoy cucumbers, and homegrown tastes way better than store-bought. And then here's an update on the kale. And I also do still have to plant something in here too, but I'm really impressed with how well this kale is doing. And it really is such a perfect spot just because it is in grow bags at the end and it's not overpowering. I had tomatoes in here last year and it was a hot mess. And I get gardens can be, you know, wild at times, and I'm all for that. But if I can try to keep things organized just to make my life a little bit easier when it comes to harvesting or managing a garden, I would rather have that. And so far I'm loving the kale right here at the end. I'm not going to harvest this right now. I may later during the week or next week with you all. And then this volunteer lemon balm's doing great. I mean, it's growing a lot. I feel like I'm having lemon balm pop up everywhere. So there's one over there. And then there's actually some of that is lemon balm too on the ground. So that's nice. Volunteer plants are really great to have. Now here's one of the pepper beds. Just a quick update on this. Everything is growing really well. I know peppers kind of take a long time, but they are growing. Now I am going around and popping off some of the flowers just because I want the roots to establish a little bit more before they start to have peppers on there. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive, but at least for me, what I've learned is to allow the roots to grow and establish itself before it starts to put all of its energy into the peppers. But I think the peppers are doing really, really well, and I'm very happy to see all of this growth. Now, do you remember these little pots over here by the flowers that I had put the packet of Save the Bees flower seeds? It's like a variety of flower seeds. Look at how much all of it has germinated. It's looking so good. So I can't wait for those to start blooming. And then you guys, the dahlias are starting to pop up. I cannot wait for dahlias. I put different varieties in this year, different colors. So I'm looking forward to harvesting and plucking some of them so I can have them in the kitchen. And then look at all the beautiful calendula, the snap peas. I'm just so happy. And I'm really liking these plant supports a lot. And an update on the little potato patch. So far, so good. Some of the leaves are starting to die back, not all of them, so they're not quite ready. I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe another 2 or 3 weeks, because I want to say last year I harvested them sometime in June, because technically summer doesn't officially start until kind of towards the end of June-ish. So I'll just keep an eye on these and we'll harvest them as soon as they're ready. Now a little update on the grapes. I finally got them planted in their pots. Everything so far is looking really good. So as soon as this gets taller, I'll latch it onto here. But I'm really hoping we get some grapes. Now I am going to be aware that the birds may want them. So I'm probably going to have to get those little netting bags to cover the grapes just to be safe. And then there's my little black Russian sunflower. I've never grown those, so I cannot wait to see what this looks like. All right, so I'm going to show this to you because I was very ambitious a couple days ago. I had cut a bunch of strawberry runners from my green stalks down there. And of course, I ran out of time, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, all these roots are just fried from just sitting here. So This is me not having enough time. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to throw these away. But the great thing about strawberry plants is I'm sure I'll get some more runners. My hope was that I wanted to try to stake them, which is why you see these garden stakes. I wanted to take some compost, put it in the ground and stake them along the edge right here and try to grow strawberries in the ground just to see how they do compared to the green stalks. And I love having them in the green stalks just because they stay cleaner, they do very well, and you can just walk up to it and pick it. But I've never grown them in the ground and I wanted to try them. So hopefully I'll just get some new runners and just do it a different time. And then this is my hot pepper and sweet pepper bed, and these are doing very well too. Of course, we want to get these off of there. Oh, look at this little pepper. I missed this one. I'm just going to let them grow. We'll see what happens. Which one? Oh, this is the Italia pepper. This is the first time I'm growing this, so I cannot wait. They looked delicious on the packet, but everything's looking really good. And these peppers are looking good too. So all of these are peppers. My lemon balm, which I actually need to harvest some real quick. So let's harvest some lemon balm. All right, we got ourselves a lot of lemon balm. I love the smell of this. I think this would make a beautiful bouquet on your countertop. Now, with regards to the new trellis, I did finally plant everything. So everything with this trellis is all planted. I'm going to tell you real quick what I planted in here. So pretty much every tomato that is in here are determinants. There's no indeterminate just because it would be too difficult to maintain. So these right here, I want to say there's 6 of them that are Napolis. And then I have gold nuggets and let me see here, Tiny Tims, and I want to say there's Mariglobe. So there's just a variety of determinate tomatoes. I'm actually already getting one, you guys. How exciting is that? And now I want to say the Tiny Tims I've only grown in the green stalk, so I am looking forward to seeing how they do in these buckets. But I figured having determinates would be a lot easier to just come and harvest off of these than having obviously a indeterminate. And then these 4 right here are loofahs. I've never grown them before, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that does. And then there's that gourd, you guys. I do have to clip that onto there before I get inside. But look at how massive this thing has grown. Now I do have 2 in here just because there was a second one, and this is a pretty, I want to say it's either a 5 or 7 gallon grow bag. So we'll see. I don't see any fruit on here yet. Not quite yet, but it's my first time growing that. So I'm looking forward to hopefully harvesting some gourds. And as far as the other side, most of these that you see right here are the jicama. Now I've talked about these before. Of course, I have a lemon balm because it just volunteered itself and I don't have the heart to take it out. But the jicama has done very well in the buckets for me. And what this is, I call it like a summer root crop because it does so well in the heat. And they're really delicious, roasted with salt and pepper. So I put them in the buckets, and I try putting them in the smaller buckets because they do equally well in there as well as the larger buckets. And then I do have the Floridade tomatoes right in these 4. Those are also determinates. And then of course I wanted to squeeze in some more cucumbers. So all of those black grow bags that are 2 gallons, I put a different variety of cucumber in each. Now I just planted them so you're not going to see them, but I'm hoping that with this part of the trellis with cucumbers and then the other part with the loofah and the gourd, that we'll just have something just so beautiful during the summer. I cannot wait, you guys. I cannot wait for them to grow. I do want to give you a quick update on all the watermelons. It looks like everything is growing really well. The only one that I feel like is growing the best so far is the orange one, which is called the Orange Glow. I'm sorry, it's Orange Glow. I'm totally butchering the name of that. But it is growing really nice on here. I just got to make sure it stays on the trellis because it is like falling over. So stay on there, please. And so my hope is that with these 5 different varieties, and there's only 1 per bag. There might be 2 over there actually, and that one right there. With just 1 per bag, I'm hoping I'll get watermelons because I haven't been too successful with watermelons. So I'm trying this method to see how it works, just like I'm trying the cantaloupe over there, and I'm hoping that it can vine out along the woods right there so that I can get some cantaloupe. And then between this pallet of tomatoes and that pallet of tomatoes and this bed, so if you remember, we harvested all of the garlic. I finally replenished and planted all the tomatoes. I do need to clip these on here though, because I'm telling you, these tomato plants grow so fast. So this is all planted. These are growing very beautifully. And then all of the 8 25-pound bags are doing really, 25-gallon grow bags, I'm sorry, are doing really, really well. So earlier this week, I had to prune, I had to clip to make sure that they were all supported, along with this pallet of tomatoes and this pallet of tomatoes. But everything's growing really beautifully, and I'm hoping that we're gonna have a lot of tomatoes. Now, it does seem like I'm growing a tremendous amount of tomatoes, and my goal is to grow as many plum tomatoes as possible, like I've said before, just because I want to make a lot of salsa and tomato sauce and just a whole bunch of sauces that I can keep on hand, because we do use a lot of tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, etc. And so that's my hope this year. And the nice thing about one of the ways that I preserve, so for instance, anytime I either have an abundance of something like too many tomatoes or too many kale, or for instance, all those broccoli leaves that I've been harvesting over the last couple of weeks, month and a half, I had so many that I didn't have the time pretty much to eat all of them quick enough. So what I did was I chopped them up and put them in my freeze dryer. So that's one of the ways I preserve, and I love it because if I don't get a chance to preserve or eat anything up, I just chop it up, put it into the freeze dryer, and I can powder it and either use it as a seasoning, or in the case of like broccoli leaves or the kale leaves, I've been using it as a supplement. So that has helped tremendously. Now, before we go and harvest a lot of the lettuce and the Swiss chard down there, because I'm still harvesting and I'm trying to do a little bit each week so I don't overwhelm myself, I want to give you a quick update on the overwinter pepper plants. So far, you guys, I'm super sad, but a lot of these are not growing back except for this one. So I am happy that one is growing. I'm actually not as disappointed in most of them, just because they were jalapeno and small ones, and it's not like I need a lot of jalapenos. I am really sad about this one though, because this one was a bell pepper, and I do not think it's going to come back, and that's okay. I may try it again this coming year, but I did want to give you an update on the poblanos. Look at how much I'm getting from here. So there's 2, there's these, there's 3 of them right here. I don't know what it is with the poblano peppers. For me, they just do so well. And the way I've the way I preserved these is I would chop them up and put them in the freezer, and then I throw them in for taco night. Like when I'm cooking the meat, I'll just throw some in. So it's like having extra peppers or extra veggies in your taco meat. It's really delicious, but I did want to give you an update on those. And an update on those Napa cabbages. They're still getting eaten pretty bad, but they're still there. I have no need to pull them out. I'm not in a hurry, so I'm gonna see what happens, you guys. But what I'm going to do right now is just harvest some lettuce, and then I'll show you everything that we got at the end. All right, so these 2 pallets, I harvested a lot of the lettuce because most of it looked like if I wasn't going to harvest, it's possible that it would have gone to seed. Now, I do have some heat tolerant lettuces. This is a Newman, like little Roman, so I'm gonna keep that there and see what happens. And then some of this is like Nevada lettuce, if I remember correctly the name of it, or gourmet blend. So this is doing really good. I actually harvested some of that. It's very beautiful. So there are a few things left in here, definitely a lot of calendula, but one thing I do want to mention is the bags that were empty, I did go ahead and put some squash in them because I haven't planted any squash except for those two little ones by the garage door, and those are planted as well. So I think the ones that I took the lettuces out, I might actually plant some more squash back here. I'm not 100% sure yet, but for the most part, the bags that are empty, I did put some in there. Now, these next 3 pallets, so 1, 2, and 3, are pretty much Swiss chard. Now, those are still kind of small because I planted those last months ago. This is the bed that I really want to harvest because they're getting larger now. And there's my lavender right there, and my mullein is right there. Now I might go ahead and harvest it right now and then show you at the very end, just because it's starting to get dark out right now, so I can't keep filming. But this is pretty much the last little bit that we have to harvest. So hopefully next week or in a couple weeks we'll harvest from those. And I forgot to show you, I don't know if you can see this string light that is going all the way up to the house, but we have 1 string light already coming out to the garden, and our hope is to have more string lights over the entire garden from a lot of the tree stumps from the back part of the deck over here. That's our hope anyway, just so that we can have some pretty lights when it gets a little bit dark in the evening. All right, well, friends, this is our harvest of lettuce in the wagon and our sweet little calendula that I harvested as well. But I have been really enjoying having this lettuce for either a side or a main meal with some grilled chicken and some homemade bread. It's been really nice. So we got ourselves some lettuce, and let's see what else we got. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we harvested today. All right, so in our little lovely basket, we have a bunch of the lemon balm. It smells absolutely lovely. I might actually put some on my countertop in a little vase, I'm not sure yet. And then there's our carrots. They're not quite ready to harvest, and that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I just wanted to test one from each variety with you guys to see where they were at, and if I even got any carrots at all. So either way, I am really happy. I may, like I said, give it a week or two, and then we got a few more snapping peas that I'll probably throw in our salad tonight or just snack on, I don't know. But overall, very happy with this. And we also got a lovely basket of a little bit of lavender and mostly oregano. So I'm trying to gather as much herbs as possible and freeze dry them or freeze them just so that I have them on hand, especially if I'm going to be canning or preserving a lot of sauces towards the middle end of the summertime. So very happy about this. Now, before I go, I want to quickly mention that if you have any questions or if there's something in particular that you would like me to make a video on, please leave them in the comments below, and I would be happy to help you in any way that I can. I really appreciate you all stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. And always remember, friends, be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Here's the string lights. They're so, so pretty. I cannot wait to have them draping over the entire garden. It's gonna be so nice. So I just wanted to quickly show you. All right, friends, well, it's officially evening time, but I wanted to show you that one pallet that I was telling you about. I finally got to it and harvested all the Swiss chard. This whole entire bowl is full, and I don't know the size of this bowl, but it is very large. But I wanted to show you all everything that I harvested. It is a lot of Swiss chard. And for the pieces that went bad, like for instance the leaf, I will typically, if it's still good, will keep the stem, chop this up. And with large batches like this, whatever I don't eat fresh, I will chop it up and put it in the freezer for later meals. And then I did get some mullein. The leaves are gigantic, so I'm probably going to freeze dry this. Give you, like, look, it's the size of my It's larger than the size of my hand, so they're really big leaves. And then I did get a couple of lettuces. So I just wanted to quickly show you everything that was from that palette.